Frank, how are you?
I'm good. I'm recently out of bed, so forgive me that. And that's because I'm in England and not because I'm keeping weird hours. But I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I just saw you having a cheeky vape. I thought you were a singer. How could you? How could you?
It's better. It's better than smoking. I'll tell you that.
This is true. This is true. Mate, I was just watching, I just started watching your interview with one of my favorite people on the planet, Henry Rollins.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, man. Dude, you think you were nervous? You're a grown man. The first time I interviewed him, I was fucking 19.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a challenge. And I mean, have you seen that footage from the mid '80s of him like trying to like rinse some kid who's interviewing him?
Oh
That's what I'm now
God.
picturing. Yeah.
I wonder what happened to him. I wonder what became of the flannelette shirt kid. Uh,
That's a good question, actually. I mean, I thought you. One of the many things that I find interesting about Henry Rollins, and I know this isn't the subject of our interview today, but here we are.
yeah,
One of the many things I find interesting and almost, I would say, encouraging is that I think that Henry is somebody who's really developed and grown in the public eye in his lifetime. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
If the Henry who was kind of being super aggressive and kind of nihilistic in the Black Flag days has really kind of grown into somebody who's a lot more kind of approachable, should we say, over time. And I think that's a nice thing to observe. You know, I think it's a cool thing. I think we live in a culture in which people are all very keen for people to be one thing and stay that thing forever. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's really nice to see Henry as somebody who's owned his past, but has sort of become a slightly different person over time. And he was an absolute delight. I was nervous, but he was so
yeah.
lovely to chat with.
And it's interesting what you were saying. Like people have these parasocial. I don't know if I'm using that word right, but relationships with celebrities that they've never met, and they insist on
Yeah.
putting them on these ridiculous pedestals and standing everything they do, so that when they say something, or oh my god, they tweeted something that doesn't 10 years ago that doesn't fly today. Oh my god, what am I going to
Yeah,
do?
it's a kind of it's this sort of like it's sort of capturing something in amber, you know, in a way that's really artificial. And I think that it's not a particularly healthy impulse in our culture, let's say that.
Uh, so, with that in mind, what are all your dirty secrets, Frank?
But my dirty thing, oh, I mean, they're all out there.
Damn it! Thought I was going to get a scoop.
No,
Um,
unfortunately, I mean, you know, I've put it this way, I've done enough interviews over the last 20 years to have said plenty of dumb shit in public in my time. And anybody who's on a mission to find Frank Turner says something stupid is going to have an easy ride.
oh,
Um,
excellent! I'll be anticipating the TikToks, yeah. Mate. So you're coming here for the Good Things Festival. What are the good things in your life right now? What
Well,
a
an excellent.
question! I'm going to high five
Yeah.
myself.
The good things in my life right now. I mean, I'm going to try and give you the honest answer to this. I mean, the first thing is, you know, I'm in the middle of promoting my 10th record, which is a lot of records, and it's going really well. And that's a pleasant thing. It's kind of a relief, almost, I would say. You know,
Mm,
like I'm even. I would. It's difficult for me to say this subjectively for obvious reasons, but like I feel like I'm having a bit of a kind of resurgence in my career at the moment. You know, I feel like people are more excited about what I'm doing now than they have been for a little while, and that's a really nice feeling, let me tell you.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, I definitely that's a good thing. I'm not going to go into the details of this. I've had some turbulence in my personal life this year, but like it's
Mhm.
heading in a good direction. I have a wonderful thing in my life right now, which I'm very excited about. So that's a good thing too. So you know, I mustn't grumble, I think is the way that people put it.
I like it. Well, that, but I think you raised an interesting point. This kind of leads into my next question, in that this attitude of, oh, look, I'm touring the world and I'm playing music, so I shouldn't grumble. But you also kind of should. And that, like, you shared a post about a week ago about Liam's Law, the Liam
Hmm.
Payne thing.
Yeah, sure.
I don't follow the mainstream news, so I still thought it was an accident. So it was actually determined to be, unfortunately.
No, I think I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not sure anybody is, but it's very
Mm,
much the case that he had severe issues with mental health and substance abuse, which I can sympathize with enormously, you
mm,
know, and like a lot of people, when I got clean and on the other side of drugs. It turns out they were a symptom and not a cause.
What?
Who could have? Yeah, I know. Who could possibly have guessed this? I guess my point being that, mental health and addiction issues are more often than not closely intertwined. And he was clearly I didn't know him in any way, but he was clearly somebody who was struggling a lot, and I think that there is a lot of pressure and a lot of challenge to living this bizarre lifestyle of airports and hotels. I'm in a hotel right now, at an airport, in fact. So. It's a weird way to live, and it's there are two sides to it, because of course, nobody makes, well, to some extent, nobody makes you do this stuff, and it tends to be a vocational thing to do with your life, and you work very hard to achieve it and all the rest of it. But at the same time, there are strains and stresses to it which are perhaps not publicized ahead of time, and even if they are, it's quite easy as a young kid to go, whatever, it can't be that bad, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And some days it is. Ultimately, I think it's important to remember, as I saw an interview with Noel Gallagher where he was talking about this, where he was just kind of like, you're living somebody else's dream, stop complaining. And I think there is something to that. I know a lot of people would swap a kidney to do what I do for a living, and I want to be respectful of that.
That's a really good answer. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it can be challenging. So, but to go back to answering your question, broadly speaking, life is good for me right now.
Nice. Just out of curiosity, because I didn't realize, how long have you been sober? Ish, whatever.
I still drink alcohol, right. But I gave up doing hard drugs. Let's say, I gave up doing hard drugs in 2017. So.
Hey, that is a year before I got sober. Nice one.
Okay, well, there we go. Yeah. And I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. There was an awful lot of false starts. Should we say? There was an awful lot of, this is it, this is the last time, and then, no, it wasn't. So yeah, but I mean, and to slightly sound like an AA pamphlet for a second, it's a constant thing. It never quite goes away, and it's something you have to keep an eye on. But I'm definitely happier on the other side of it. I don't want to get too far into the details of this, but I've also discovered that I can't really hold my alcohol like I could when I was doing other drugs. So I now drink way less than I used to, and very pleased about that. I am too. I mean, I'm 42, but it's kind of fun. It's funny to me now, looking back, after a show these days, I might have a glass of wine, and if it's a really crazy night, I might have two. And yeah, I know. And looking back to how touring might have been in 2013 or whatever, it's just kind of man, shit changes, but for the better.
Yeah. Now, this is a bit of a kind of famous question of mine that I've asked many, many different people. It is designed to be completely stupid and is designed for you to have some fun. Okay. There are 5 members of your band, you included.
Right.
There are 5 members of the band Korn who are headlining Good Things.
Right.
Who would win in a fight?
Well, I mean, the first thing to say is that I was a gigantic Korn fan when they first came out when I was a kid. So, but I'm aware they've had a few lineup changes since then. So my nerdery is only going to take me so far. I say this with all the love and affection in the world. Jonathan Davis doesn't come across as somebody who's going to handle himself in a fight all that well. I should add to that neither am I. Good Lord, I'm terrible at fighting. And broadly think it's a dumb way of spending your time. But I think he and I would probably cancel each other out. Let's say that. You know what I mean? We probably start and then just apologize and sort of hug. I mean, beyond that, I wouldn't take my bass player in a fight. Ooh. I'll say that. He's not an aggressive or a violent man in any way. But he's, some people have just got that vibe about them. It's just don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
So, but then at the same time, I think that some of the members of Korn have a similar vibe as well. I think they'd probably win.
This is true. No, I do like to. When you said that you and Jonathan Davis aren't good at fighting, all I could think of was it Bridget Jones's Diary? It had that famous terrible fight scene between Hugh Grant and And
You
they,
know,
they,
I'm going to confess to never having seen that film, so I don't
lol.
know.
Well, gosh, I'm glad I wasted part of a 15-minute interview slot talking about a movie I haven't seen. That's fucking awesome. Uh, mate, have you been here in December before?
I have, yes, and I'm very much looking forward to it because there's a tiny window in this hotel room, but the weather here is utterly, utterly disgusting right now. It's cold and it's rainy and it's windy, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to a place where I can wear shorts.
Nice. Well, yeah, because I was like, hang on, you're from England, and you're coming here in December, you're going to die. So I
No,
just
no,
interviewed imminent.
I'm going via Vietnam, which I believe will be hotter still. So where I have been before. So I am hopefully I've packed appropriately.
Mate, I reckon we are probably. No, I reckon I probably don't have enough time for another question, so I might say goodbye now. But just wanted to say, mate, that I have a confession to make. I had known your name, but I had never heard your music until this morning when I was like, shit, I need to interview for that. I need to research that question. You sound nothing like I thought you were going to, but I really,
Okay.
really like it. So,
Okay, great, fantastic.
yeah,
That makes me
man.
very happy. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
man.
it
Are
was,
you coming to one of the Good Things shows?
yes, I'll be in Brisbane.
Okay,
So,
fantastic. Well, Bris
yeah.
Vegas. And this is going to sound like I'm just saying this, but I promise you it's true. Brisbane's my favorite city in Australia by some distance.
Oh, yeah, mine
And
too.
the last time we were over for a proper tour of the Brisbane show, which was at the Triffid, I believe,
Yes, yep.
was miles and away the best show of the tour. So
Oh,
so hats off to Brisbane. Looking forward to being back through for the show. And the one other thing I would say is that my album Undefeated came out in May. We're over for Good Things now. I'm very excited for Good Things, but I'm not regarding this as like the Australian leg of this tour. You know, this is a quick nip in to say hi and make some new friends, and then we will be back. I genuinely don't know when. I'm not being coy, but we will be back for a proper tour in good time.
oh, you just gave me the feed line for the interview there. I like it.
Good.
Future Australian tour? Who knows? Click this
You
thing
know,
and you might find out. Mate, thank you very much for your time. Adam, thank you very much, my dude.
thanks.